to share with you. You know, every 4 years we have in the United States the presidential election. And also there are congressmen and senators, House of Representatives and senators from different states that some of them come up for re-election. For many, many years, I've always heard the press talk about an October surprise. And what that usually means is that in the month of October, sometimes a few weeks before the election, something will come out in order to try to hurt one or both of the candidates. I remember when George Bush was running that the October surprise was that he had gotten arrested for drunk driving many, many years ago. And of course, in the 2016 election, there were surprises that came out. 2020, there were alleged surprises that came out. Now, because people vote earlier, sometimes it's possible that these alleged surprises will come out earlier than the month of October. However, still many, many people still vote on election day as their tradition has been, especially the older generation. Now, I have really been meditating on the idea of what would be the biggest surprise in the month of October that could really alter something or change something in one direction or the other. Now, for some reason, I began to think about this, and I always make this clear to those of you who follow us on our YouTube channel. I will tell you if I feel like I've heard from the Lord, and many, many times I have. At other times I will tell you that the Lord did not give me this. It's just something that kind of stirred my spirit up and I couldn't get my mind off of it. So is this possible? That's my question. Is this possible? It came to me just a few weeks ago, the possibility that what would happen if in the month of October, for some reason, President Joe Biden would be forced to step down. Now we know technically he's not running, Kamala Harris is, but what if he was forced to step down? And this is what would happen. If he was forced to step down, then Kamala Harris would be voted in as President of the United States. And as I was thinking about this, I thought, what would the response or the reaction be if that occurred? Let's say 2 weeks before the election. Let's say even 1 week before the election. Well, I can tell you how it would be spun by the media. Well, folks, here's the idea. She's already president, so why not just keep her in and just elect her as president and keep her in for 4 more years? So it wouldn't be, this is what I feel or I think would happen. I think it would be pushed as she's already president. So just go vote for her as president instead of voting her in as president to replace Joe Biden. Then she's already there. And this could be one of the biggest surprises and shocks. Of course, what that would require is for President Biden to be either removed from the presidency. And I thought about this. What could happen to allow him or the forces that be to take that constitutional amendment and exercise that amendment to remove him? Well, the only thing I could think of is some kind of attack inside of America or some type of a war that breaks out, something major that happens where it doesn't look like he's capable maybe to respond to it or cognitively, to react the proper way to get it done. And then they would then demand him stepping down, they being the forces that be that enact these kind of things. Now, only time will tell if this suggestion or possibility is fulfilled. If it is not fulfilled, I would suggest to all the people watching me that if you are not registered to vote, register to vote. I would also suggest to all of you, to the 25 million evangelicals that sat out the last election in 2020, don't complain if you don't vote. You need to show up, whatever state you live in, either pre-vote or show up to the polls there on election day and cast your ballot. Now, again, this is one of those things, like so many other things, that it has a time limitation on it, and time will tell if that is a possibility. I do believe that would be an idea, or that has been an idea, that some have thought about. Because many times when you spend a lot of time in prayer, the Spirit of God will let you pick up on what people are thinking. It's called a word of wisdom or a word of knowledge. And you can kind of see the plans of people in advance. That's what happened in the Bible. When you read about the prophet of the Lord in the Bible, and I'm not a prophet, I'm just using this as an example, but the prophet of the Lord, the Syrian general, went into a chamber to attack Israel. And the prophet in Israel, not in Syria, the prophet was in Israel, could hear the conversation and warned the king twice that the Syrians were coming. And when the Syrians showed up, there was nobody there. And the Syrian general actually accused some of his men of being spies, giving secret information to Israel. But the fact was, it was a prophet in a prayer closet that was seeing things that were going to happen. Now, I know there's a lot of people on YouTube that give prophetic words that the Lord says, the Lord says, the Lord says, and some of them have more words than the prophets of the Bible. And I'm not going to say I'm skeptical of that, but yet to some point I am. I have to know the credibility of the person, and I have to know have what they said in the past actually come to pass. That's the sign of someone that's really hearing from the Lord. So again, God did not tell me this. This is just something that was dropped in my spirit that I wanted to share with you and say, if there would be a surprise from one side, that could be or would be one of the biggest surprises that could take place. Now, if you learn something, click right now, click it, thumbs up. because I want more people to hear what we're saying. If you've not subscribed to our channel, we'd love to have you do that. We're going to bring some great things in the future. We have a lot of things on the YouTube channel. And don't forget the Manifest telecast that comes out every Friday on our YouTube channel as well. That's our television program that goes around the world on many stations and satellites around the world. Also, be keeping up with a special advertisement that we have